Okay. Now we shall continue with the types of magnifier. Okay, there are three types of magnifier, that is available or commonly prescribed to patient. The first one is handheld magnifier. Second one is stand magnifiers, and the third one is the bright field magnifiers. Okay, so we're going to look at each of this magnifier one by one. Okay. Okay, the first one is this handheld magnifier. So these are the types of handheld magnifier that we have. Not this, yeah, this two. Okay, so this one is the illuminated handheld magnifier, and this one is a similar version but without the lighting. So the non-illuminated handheld magnifier. Okay. Okay, so handheld magnifier, magnification remains constant regardless of the eye to magnifier distance. So this eye to the magnifier will be held using the hand. So the distance between the eye to the magnifier, it is not going to affect the magnification that patient will be seeing. Okay, even if you bring it closer or you bring it further away, right? Okay, so the magnification is still going to be the same. So that's a good thing about this handheld magnifier. Okay, so what is the advantages and disadvantages of this handheld magnifier? Is the advantages is number one, it is convenient and more suitable for short-term spot or survival readings, like for example reading price tags, telephone number, reading ingredients on bottles, okay, reading a receipt. Okay, after you withdraw money from a bank, then if let's say you have a receipt, right, the balance receipt, okay, that is will be visible with this magnifier. Okay, so the magnifier to eye distance can be extended without affecting vision, as I mentioned earlier, affecting the magnification. So if you bring it closer or you bring it further away, the image will be still 2 times magnified if let's say you're using a 2 times handheld magnifier. So there is no effect on the magnification. Okay, and then can be, it can come with internal illumination or without the illumination depending on the need. Okay, usually patient with contrast issue, they will need the illuminated handheld magnifier, while patient who have this glare problem, okay, would prefer the non-illuminated handheld magnifier. Okay, and it is psychologically accepted because this handheld magnifier usually it is found in old in homes. Okay, if let's say you go to your grandma's place or grandpa's place, right, usually they will have this to look at tiny things and all that. So psychologically it is accepted because we do have this magnifiers at home. It is compact, lightweight, and portable. Okay, so that makes it easier to carry from one place to another place. And the larger it comes in a larger diameter, so the field of view is slightly bigger compared to other magnifiers. And usually it's inexpensive. You can get it for 100 ringgit or within 200 or 250. It's not like thousands. Okay, so it is slightly cheaper. And the disadvantages of this handheld magnifier is limited field of view. Okay, the field of view is limited. As I mentioned earlier, if let's say you can see the whole text, maybe, with the magnifier, you're only able to see like 2 to 3 words, where you have to move, the magnifier from one to, from after you complete reading, then you have to move to the another section for you to be able to read. Okay, and the next one is the disadvantage. You must have a good hand grip. Okay, that is the reason why during the history taking, I taught you on, we have to know whether they have a good hand grip, like, whether they have shaky hands or whether they have arthritis. Okay, because they need to have a good hand grip to hold certain magnifiers, and that certain magnifier is this handheld magnifier. Okay, if let's say they cannot hold, they have Parkinson, or if let's say the patient is having arthritis, they cannot hold things for a long period, this is not a good option for the for the patient. So basically this handheld magnifier is is the magnifier that is prescribed only for the short term only, not for reading textbook. Okay, not to read, something that you read for a longer period. Okay, it is only for you to look at something. If let's say something, on the floor, you don't know what is that, then it's too tiny, then you want to have a look at it, then you can use it, to read ingredients on bottle that you read for a very short period, receipts and all that, right? So only for short term. So that is handheld magnifier. Okay, so the field of view is the best when you, sorry for the, um, this points, I think it got cut off. So the field of view is best when used to closer to the eye as a monocular. Okay, so usually this one is used up, monocularly. Okay, so if let's say, a patient want to have like a bigger field of view, right? So they have to bring it closer to the eye. Okay, so what does increasing eye to lens distance do? Example of hand magnifier, you use a different eye to lens. Okay, so the lens stays at the same distance from the text. Okay, that means if let's say it's like, how to use this handheld magnifier is we have to put it on the reading material and then we'll lift up until the image is magnified. So if let's say this handheld magnifier, it has to be further away from the reading material by 5 centimeter, then you have to place it at 5 centimeter throughout your reading. So that is going to be constant. Okay, but whether the image is going to be, okay, once you already maintain that, if you bring your eyes closer and further away, okay, so what is the image that will be seen by the patient? Okay, so for example A, right, the image seen by the viewer as the eyes move away from the text top to down. Okay, for example, if let's say, if you look at this, right, okay, so if let's say they're very, very close, okay, this is 5 centimeter, but if let's say they go, very close to the, to the magnifier, then they will see as the first image. If let's say they go further away, then it will be like this. And then if let's say further away, then it will be like this. So the field of view is bigger when the eye is closer to the device. Okay, when it is further away, then it gets, the field of view will get smaller. Okay. But if you see in reality, magnification is the same throughout. It is perceived to be greater as words are filling more the lens. Okay, the size of the image is going to be the same. Okay, just that the field of view is going to be the best when it is further away. Okay, so that is what is explained by this picture. So basically, this is reading materials. Put the handheld magnifier on top of the reading materials and move it further until the image is fully magnified. Okay, so for already fully magnified. Okay, then what patient has to do is, if let's say they want to get a good, so sorry, I explained it wrong way. So number A is you put the reading material on the reading, on the text. Sorry, you put the handheld magnifier on the text. Okay, this is how the image looks like. So what you have to do is, what the patient has to do is, they have to lift up the handheld magnifier until the image is fully magnified like this. Okay, so fully magnified like this and maintain the distance. Okay, so once the image is fully magnified, then what patient has to do is, if you look at the B, if let's say, okay, they are very close to the handheld magnifier, this is the image they will see. The field of view will be bigger. Okay, when they are further away, the field of view will get smaller. Okay, so this is the image of the, distance between the text material and the magnifier. This one is the image the patient would see, okay, when they move the eye away from the handheld magnifier. So this is the image that we will see. Okay. Okay, the next magnifier would be the stand magnifier. So stand magnifier, there are two types. Okay, one is the fixed focus, another one is variable focus. Okay, so this variable focus is further divided into two, high powered and also low powered. So the fixed focus typically designed so that the magnifier to object distance is less than the anterior focus focal length of the lens. Okay, so typically designed so the magnifier to object distance is less than the anterior focal length of the lens. Hence, light is divergent. So this stand magnifier, right? The image that comes out from the stand magnifiers is divergent. Okay, so when it is divergent, right, the person who's actually observing through this stand magnifier has to have accommodation. Okay, then only the image will fall on the retina and the image that is seen will be clear. So therefore, patient must have accommodation to neutralize, or if let's say they don't have accommodation, they have to have a reading addition glasses. Okay, for them to be able to see the reading material clearly. Okay. So this variable focus is high powered and small diameter designed to be used monocularly. And then we have a low power, okay, large diameter. Okay, the lenses are large diameter and then held on adjustable flexible stand or suspended around the neck or cord. So there are many types. Okay, so this is the high powered one and this is the low powered one. Okay, what are the advantages and disadvantages of this stand magnifier? The advantages is the working distance is maintained. Okay, like handheld magnifier, you have to lift up until the image is fully magnified and then you have to maintain it. Okay, but this stand magnifier, you don't need to do that. You just need to place the reading material, reading material and then the stand magnifier on top of it. Okay, and we don't need to do any adjustment, don't need to hold it. Okay, so working distance is maintained, useful when patient has hand tremor or weakness. Okay, patient who have this arthritis, no good grip and all that, they can use this. Okay, leave hands free to perform writing or handicraft. Okay, if let's say they look at something and then they need to copy down, they just need to look through and then they can copy down. It's because they're not holding it, so they're able to write. Okay, available with the built-in illumination. So it comes with illumination and without illumination. So depending on the need of the patient who have contrast problem, okay, and patient who have, glare problem, both can actually use this device. The disadvantages will be may require additional glasses. As I mentioned, if let's say, they don't have accommodation, then they need reading glasses and it will be slightly heavy. Okay, depending on the magnification type, so it might be heavy, so that also will be one of the disadvantages. Okay, next is bright field magnifiers. Okay, there are many. Okay, one is Visolate, dome, flat field magnifiers, visual tracking magnifiers, VTM. So we do have this dome and also visual tracking magnifier in the clinic. Okay, it gives a low magnification, produce between 1.5 times, okay, and 2.2 times magnification. So the diameter of the dome determines the field of view, but also the weight of the magnifier. The larger the diameter of the dome, okay, the bigger the field of view, but that also contribute to the weight of the magnifier. So the advantages is simple to use, brightens objects, combines well with accommodation. Okay, possibilities of binocular use.